Good day.
Good day, sir. It's it's always a good day when we got our friends. Our friends are always nearby. They're just solid, you know. You know.
Solid wood, man.
Let's see. Let me put my ears in here for an ear.
Dude, before we start, I gotta show you something that I found.
We are already live.
Oh, we're live now? Shucks. I'll show
Yeah.
you on the next one. Or maybe I'll just send you a video.
Yeah, that's what time we got. We still have 1 minute. Um, you know, it it occurs to me that there's this thing called the zone, and you're in the zone because you're so engaged in the activity that time just goes by. Um, of course, that's also called being old, right? You wake up and you're just so engaged in being awake that all of a sudden it's nighttime or it's the next week or the next month. But I digress. I digress. Never have understood that term. I digress. um, but for sure, that whole idea of being engaged in a very what's the word? You're very it's not excited. Okay, we'll use the word excited because my brain can't think of any other word right now. Um, but you're excited, you're motivated. There we go. You're motivated by what you're doing, right?
Right.
And I think that really is the key in many ways to kind of feeling good in a world that in a world that isn't really wanting you to feel it doesn't the world isn't necessarily set up for you to feel good, right? No matter what class level or whatever, it's not necessarily set up that way.
Yeah.
And some of the things that regardless of your situation in life or your age or whatever, there's one thing for certain is like being engaged, motivated by what you're engaged in definitely is a positive life experience. you know because I was thinking about this because um I was concerned with my being up, focusing on the programming and stuff. And I was concerned about, you're tired 9, 10 o'clock, and then boom, that next wave hits you, and then you're up till 2, right? And I was concerned about that. And so I gave it a good amount of thought. And my thinking on it is this: when you are positively motivated, you'll lose some sleep. Hey, Justin, you know what I mean? You'll lose some sleep. Or let's just say you won't be a sleep hog, where, I need my 12 hours, because I have been unmotivated. Um, and boy, then the motivation becomes being unconscious, you know, like 12 hours is, yeah, give it to me, right? Whereas when you're motivated, you're like, oh my God, do I gotta sleep? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, okay, 6 hours is enough. 6 hours is enough. Come on. Right. And then you try. So a motivated body is a lot different than a non-motivated body. Motivated activity is a lot different than non-motivated activity. Now, I can't, I don't think we can expect for motivation to constantly drive us. In fact, that's not what I'm saying at all, because you have to suffer through those first steps. The first steps of anything are hard, right?
Yeah.
So you have to suffer the first steps of waking up and getting up, right? You have to suffer those steps. But as long as you're walking in the right direction, your motivation, you're assured that once you get going, that you'll be motorized, you'll be motivated, and inspired. I think that's the word I was mostly looking for. Duh,
Inspired.
inspired. Yes, inspired, because that's a lot different than motivation. So yeah, the word I was looking for is inspired, and so that's so challenging in a world that pretty much takes all of that time away from you, and then you're done, so a master is one of those people that can show up and not let any of that energy go, get paid, and then go use that energy for the thing that motivates them. And for a lot of us that's music. um you know uh, uh but I don't know. I think that's somewhat of a cop out. Music is so that's like a luxury. That's not like chopping wood, man. Playing music ain't like chopping wood. That's all I'm
No,
saying.
not.
you know. Yeah. Um so really for us as Wing Chun students, us as Wing Chun practitioners, as teachers, I think it's really an important element to get across to people, which is to understand that you only have so many hours in a day, you only have so much energy in a day. But it's amazing how much hours you can squeeze out of the day and how much energy you can muster when you're inspired um, to do a
Yeah.
thing, you know. And
It's almost like
then I think
you have like a fixation on it, like you're fixated on
a
a
what?
fixation.
Oh yeah, fixation.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, but let's pull it back a little because the fixation has somewhat of a negative connotations. And let's
Yeah.
just say you create a pattern or a habit that is dominant over the other things that are going on, right?
That'd be accurate.
So this is a challenge. This is a huge challenge. I think this is some really great advice to some out there. And that is you first of all, the activity is chopping wood. You got to appreciate the whole thing of chopping wood. So that's a whole nother topic. Um, if you work a good portion of the day, someone else has taken up that energy, then the challenge really is one, to work the least amount, get paid the most. Of course, that's the first challenge. But a, a really important challenge is to figure out how to be motivated to do the other things, the things that you're here in life to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not here in life to be a slave to someone else. That's kind of just a tool. And you can use that or be used by it. You
Yeah.
can use it
True. Very true.
by but but it's not up here. It really isn't up here. It's a numbers thing. I've really been getting into numbers lately. um if you spend X amount of hours being used, then guess what? You're not going to what you want and what you're trying to achieve in life is not going to get done, right?
Yeah,
Because
it's
you're just not
stunted.
the hour the numbers don't equate,
Add up.
right?
Yeah, add up.
Right. So it seems like it's almost impossible. Well, it's not, because what you do is you physically go, oh, I worked 8 hours. Okay, what's the math here? 8 and 8 is 16. Right. So, okay, 16 hours, we can do that. Right. And I'm talking about like real live now experience here. You can do the 16 hours, but not if you're not motivated. You can turn 16 hours of, in other words, 8 hours. You can turn 8 hours of what you want to do in life into a much heavier 8 hours than the 8 hours here, where you kind of drifted, you kind of did this, you took a break, right? You can really fluff up these hours that you're kind of enslaved, and then really be motivated by these 8 hours. So, although they're the same numbers, those numbers are packed, like 8 point something is not the same as eight.
Yeah.
You see? So you really can uh, turn those hours, and then also you don't necessarily work 7 hours a day. So you can also get there by way of putting your off days and doing what motivates you as well, right? But again, the important thing here is the motivation has to be part of the chopping wood concept. And does that make sense?
Motivation has to be part of the chopping wood concept.
Yes. In other words, it's not something that you necessarily want to do. It's something that has you walking against the wind. It's like it's giving you some resistance. Life
Uh,
for humans is about is about good resistance, right?
yeah,
Good friction, too too little. And
with like dissonance of being able to motivation, um, or habit of being motivated.
I said it's not up here. It's not up here. It's physically the body and the numbers. And the
Body.
numbers, because yeah, you have to get the numbers first. The motivation's not going to be there. You're going to have to work and bleed and sweat and cry until you can get the numbers right. And
Yeah,
because without the numbers being right, you're just not good. You can pretend to be motivated. You can use the energy that you got from your days off to be motivated,
yeah.
right?
I get,
But
I
it's
get
all gonna
that.
die. It's all, and that's not sustainable.
Yeah, yeah. I get that. I get that. I'm,
Yeah.
I'm phrasing it wrong. Um, yeah, I guess I'm phrasing it wrong. Not a state of mind of motivation. It's just like a constant or something. Like a bottle, like a physical constant of it. Yeah, I don't know how to
Well,
phrase that.
we've kind of talked about it, and we've talked about this in different terms, like as in repetition and whatnot.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Like,
this is sort of a different.
like sort of
This
like
is the same topic, but a different perspective on it.
right, yeah,
And the important thing here is to not assume motivation. And motivation
right,
has to come from the blood, sweat, and tears of, of exploration. Because
right, yeah,
you suffer the uphill climb to explore, then you'll never discover anything. And when you don't discover things, you're not motivated to really explore, right? It's not
yeah,
something that you really want to
yeah,
do, especially the work involved. When, especially when our jobs in life really kind of make it almost, I mean, some people, they call their jobs, like, come on. You sit in air conditioning, you do nothing until somebody walks up to you and then you go, "Can I help you?" or
yeah,
whatever. I mean, that's not a freaking job. Are you kidding me? You know, I mean, if you're getting paid, awesome. If you could turn your brain off and then go, once you're done that, go do the things you really want to achieve in life, awesome. You see, that's
yeah.
why I say those people are masters. I have a hard ass time doing that. You know,
Mhm.
my aspirations are great.
Yeah,
I'm a worm with the aspirations of a god. I forget who said that, but I like that one.
it's
Um, all right. We should have been doing sand training all along, but that concept
it was
was
important.
so important.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
because especially for martial art training, there's so much repetition, and but martial art training, well, here's the simile, as in real life and martial art training, or real versus train, right? Is once you've done your 10,000 hours, so to speak, whatever that number is, once you've
Yeah,
done your 10,000 hours, um, you don't need, you've got the density. See, this is all, now we're going right into Wing Chun um, concepts here, right? Once you've done the work, you are a very dense. Now you're not having to do 8 hours versus 8 hours. Now you're 3 hours, or well, incrementally. Now you're 5 hours, you're 4 hours, you're 3 hours, you're 1 hour. Is
right.
a lot more dense because it's connected to a huge body of memory,
Yeah,
right?
right. Yeah,
So you're,
kind of like
yeah,
how I felt about my. Now that you say it like that, it's kind of how it felt with my geoscience degree and everything. Because like with my last class, it was like, okay, now I have to embody everything that all the courses all into one course, and it's just like the past history of knowledge of all those hours getting just shoved into one course of hours instead. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, embodiment. Hmm.
yeah. Eventually, if you do the work, then you can. And this is it with corporations, with industries. When you do the work, you can eventually do the work in much less time.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
then you have the option. Do I want to use that time as a let me see. Yeah. Do I want to use that time to grow, or do I want to use that time to now work on something else? You know? So
right.
so that's how it works with jobs, I guess. You uh, but again, you see, there's an equation there, and the equation you got to work out is the energy. You're
Yeah,
not going to escape the amount of energy.
yeah, man. That's one thing
So
that
if you're really efficient at your job that you're a slave at, well, that does take energy.
a lot,
Right? Yeah.
especially hard labor.
Yeah. So you have to. So again, the hard work is once you've done your, you've got the habit of the slave labor thing. Let's just call it, right. Well, now you have to have the work of of working for yourself essentially,
Right.
and having that being more prevalent than the work that you do for others,
That's
and that
that's
is
where I'm
an
at
uphill
right now.
climb.
That's like where I'm at
Say
right now.
again.
Yeah, that's like where I'm at right now. I'm like in that shift of like, okay, like I really need to focus more on my work than somebody
Hmm.
else's, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
So
Eh,
actually I'm
but you still have to do the other thing in order to pay the bills, right?
yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. It's very interesting.
Right. So that is it's exactly
Yeah, that yeah,
the point, right? I think we're all kind of in that situation to a certain extent, or
right,
many of us are, not all of us, but many of us are. And
right,
so the way out of that is to be motivated, more motivated by what you want and what you're trying to achieve. And that motivation only comes from physical blood, sweat, and tears of doing it. you know,
right,
and you're there when you're not, when you are. Motivation is very easy to tell if you're there. You kind of fake it till you make it, but by God, make sure that you make it. And that is being motivated to do the thing. And then what you have to force yourself to do is to eat and sleep, you see.
right. Like shit, I need to cook.
When you find yourself having to, then you're there, you're motivated, you're on the right path.
Yeah. Like, damn it, now I need to cook. Fuck.
Oh,
I'll
all right.
pour
Well,
coffee.
luckily for me, I'm back to intermittent fasting, so it's back to just one meal a day, so that helps. I've never gotten rid of my loo. So I just keep working. I just sit on my can and keep working.
Yeah, you know,
I mean, those bathroom breaks and whatnot can eat up time, man.
yeah, and not only time but concentration too.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I wrote a program last night that does a card trick. Really
Sick.
cool.
Yo,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
pretty cool.
I can. What you do is you tell somebody to think of a card, and then you have the computer tell them what their card is.
No way. Accurate?
Oh, 100%.
Dude, that's kind of insane. I would like to see what that program looks like. Like, because I still remember, we were out in the foothills of El Dorado, and you did that one card trick on me where it took you like all night to like think about, which card I would choose or something, or what card I had in mind. And then the next morning you had it, and it just kind of blew my mind a little bit.
Well, that it's the same trick essentially, but I applied it to the computer, which does it a lot faster than I do.
That's yeah, pretty gnarly, man. Like, yeah, what was it? It was the two of clubs, what it was. But yeah, it was two clubs. I don't know what the symbolism of two of clubs is, but I
Well,
hope
man,
it's
you
not
got to
that.
remember, um, playing cards originally were fortune telling cards.
Huh.
So the tarot deck and playing cards are very highly associated. In fact,
Okay.
a lot of fortune tellers will use just a regular deck of cards.
Huh. So what does the two of clubs mean?
Well, the two of clubs is the same as the two of of staves in the tarot. So
Uh-huh.
you can look that up. The
Okay. It's
and
good.
now that'll give you a clue. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Maybe it'll tell me more about myself that I don't know. You know.
Well, just beware. The brain is a terrible thing to taste. When I was a mime, I used to tell people, and remember, ladies and gentlemen, please tip generously. A mime is a terrible thing to waste. And it was a funny thing because the whole time I was doing mime and not talking, and then all of a sudden I like break out of character and start talking, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's do a little of the old warming up of the midsection. I don't think we can ever get too much of the warming up of the midsection.
Okay.
Um, there we go. Got it here.
Dog hair. Okay.
I think we're going to do bicycles. Bicycles are kind of nice.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, ready? And one, heels up as high as you can get them.
Kind of like a
Two,
Popeye,
three, kicking.
like a Popeye Joe
Four,
feet.
five. Yeah, this is more like bicycling, I guess, right?
Bicycle.
Except you're doing a kick. We'll call these bicycle kicks. Like bam, 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 bam.
Leading with the heel
Right where
as we. Oh,
now reverse, back pedal, back pedal. This is this is called picking them up, right? You're picking it up, picking it up, picking it up. Yeah. Now this is can't make up your mind. Now we're back. Now we're to this, right? Yeah, good. Yeah. Keep going if
I,
you need to feel more.
I had a good sprint on my bicycle this morning to go get coffee. I was drafting a truck. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I must not have my glasses on because the other day I went and bought coffee after I quit. I quit drinking coffee. It was a mere hours before I was found myself to buy coffee, and then I inadvertently bought decaf. And I maybe 2 3 mile round trip. So I walked there. Just I'm like, no, you're not gonna drive. If you're gonna do this, you're gonna walk. You. So, So I wound up doing in full, I guess, 6 mile round, 6 miles, because I had to walk back out and go. I was not going to be defeated.
That's a nice walk. It's a long walk.
Uh, yeah, I love walking, man. Go ahead and count them out. I I would like you do this one. Would you do this one, which is down and then up?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Count them out.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20.
Yeah. Excellent. I'm going to go a little overtime since we were blabbing a bit. Um, I just want to do. You know what? Let's get a really good core workout. Yeah, that's what we'll do. Except let's bring it back to. Are you gonna guess? Listen, repetition is where it's at, baby. You will do in life. Hey, this is very thematic today. You will do in life what you do a lot of, especially under stress. Okay?
Yeah.
So if you're really under stress and you don't have a game plan, ooh, this I did want to say. I'm going to waste some more time with this. But that's this. For self defense purposes, you really want to develop a game plan and you don't want to have a very complex game plan. Okay. Unless, of course, you spend many hours training. Different story. Now you run through different scenarios. But in general, you create a game plan that your body will respond to, right? Okay. So the game plan here is I'm gonna go through all this, um, and make sure you remember this. This is something it's going to be interesting if Sifu Chad can premeditate what I'm about to say and do here. Okay, so the assumptions here are somebody's about to attack you, right? Or you couldn't run. Maybe you did try to run, right? But they're faster than you. So there is going to be physical touch, right? There is going to be a connection, right? So we have to premeditate all that and understand that and have a game plan. Now, it's going to be a lot easier to, if the game plan doesn't work, to switch from a game plan to something else than it will be to have no game plan and switch to something from no game plan. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So here, here's some of the things. I'm running. I kick. Donkey kick. Classic donkey kick.
Donkey.
Whoever's chasing you deserves a donkey kick. Okay?
Yeah.
Run, run, run. Oh, you're going to catch me. Boom. Donkey kick. Classic. Okay? I don't mind giving these secrets away because it's to the person that's being attacked. Right? So you donkey kick. Oh, they grabbed your leg. Okay, well, I hope you've done some jujitsu 101 here because they grabbed your leg. Now you're on the ground. Let's say you're on the ground here, right? Now, if they're not going to let go of your leg, then you have a classic, more than likely, you have a classic situation where you can triangle.
Yeah.
And then you have your classic triangle, armbar, shoulder lock combo. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So none of this comes without training and understanding. Let me get that straight right now. Right. This game plan takes some work, but not a lot of work. Right. We're talking, 1 week of training the ground, having a partner, and just trying to get your combination of armbar. Okay. Now you don't, and again, you don't have to complete them. You just have to get away from them.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So of course, completing and breaking the arm or the shoulder, right, or transitioning to a rear naked choke, of course, that's preferable. But pushing away is great too, and now you got a chance to keep running it and get away. Maybe, maybe, uh, but either way, there's your game plan, right? You're running, kicking. They got your leg, triangle, armbar, omoplata, shoulder lock, right?
Mm-hmm.
Push out, get away. So transition rear naked choke. Okay. And then one more thing to that whole equation. And then we're done. That's not very complex. It's a very solid self defense game plan that anyone can learn and do, right? You practice, you could practice your donkey kick, right? By just looking out the corner of your eyes, practice your donkey kick, right? Make sure you're nice and strong on one foot. That's important. The combination, the grappling combination I just showed you. But most important, even more important than putting them to sleep or breaking their arm, you're on your butt and you got to get up. I was waiting for you uh, to finish that statement.
Yeah.
So let's do
Yeah.
it.
You gotta
So
do
the
that.
technical get up, that's opposite arm and leg kicking up. And I'm not going to do the jump. All right. We're just going to focus on the get up.
Okay. Honestly, I was kind of thinking candlesticks at first. Right. Yeah. I should actually get my
Two,
mat out from the outside storage. Throw it in here.
three, four, five, six, seven, 8, 9, And yeah. All right. Now, where that fits in is you're on the ground, they're standing. So maybe you're right. Running always best thing. Remember, it's self-defense. You're not fighting.
Yeah.
So run with the objective, okay, this is your last chance. You running is just their last chance. Understand that psychologically.
Right.
It's your last chance. Wham. Now, instead of them grabbing, they just kind of grab and you kick and you wind up on your ass. So now you got wham, and you're up back in the game.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to be on the ground. You don't want to get into a grapple. But for God's sake, if you are on the ground, know how to get up effectively and know a good move. Triangle is a great move
Mm-hmm.
because triangle can transition to armbar, can transition to shoulder, and transition to rear naked choke
Mm-hmm.
so easily. I mean, and that's just three. You can essentially from a triangle, you can damn near transition to anything, you know. But those are the golden, that's the golden triangle, right? Triangle, armbar, shoulder lock, rear naked. So this is, you tried to get away, you fell, or you did the donkey kick and you wound up on your butt. They're still standing. Well, if they advance, you don't want to just be getting up regular. You want to, and again, you're going to do what you do a lot of. So if you don't do this, it's not going to be in your wheelhouse, right?
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why we do these sorts of things. We do them repetitively. Our sandbag, we do repetitively. Our forms and our mukjung, we do repetitively. And they're not huge forms. They're very compact. So that the whole theme here is put the work in so you can kind of compress. There's a new word, right? You can compress your 1 hour of what you love, right?
Mm-hmm.
That will outweigh the 8 hours of what you might not love so much.
Yeah.
Uh, Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're not going to get there by pretending. You're not going to get there by, oh, la, la, la. Oh, this is my art and passion. No, no, you're just noodling. You know, you're just, right. Because if you were practicing music, you wouldn't have the instrument in your hand. You'd have some paper, you'd be writing, you'd be composing, you'd be doing music theory, you'd be understanding, trying to, whenever you're trying to learn something, it's about 80% study and then 20% of actually doing the thing. You
Yeah.
know? Very, very true. If you want to be good, if you want to be a hack, you just switch the numbers. If you're a hack, is 80%, yeah. And then, Pete, then you hate your life, right? After a while, you get burnt out, right? You're not motivated, you're not inspired. So, mixing it up is good. Having that other thing is good because as long as you stay Wing Chun, then this simply pays for the compression that you're doing over here, you know, because yeah, and you've already done a lot of this work. So, and same thing with Justin. You guys have done a lot of the work. So you really don't have to put 8 hours of training in. You just really have to be earnest in the 1 hour or whatever, however
Yeah.
much training you put in,
You
right?
got to
And then
perform the
that
form with
compression will,
authority, and you got to perform the forms a lot.
yes, yes.
Form
And then that is the key to motivation. It's not be motivated and then do these things. No, no, no.
with
It's cry, whine, blood, sweat, and tears. No, don't whine. Blood, sweat, and tears will eventually get you to that motivation where you're more than happy to stay up till 3 in the morning and then have to wake up really early and yeah, and do it all over again.
Yeah.
You know. You have to now, you just have to do the self-parenting. You have to go, now you stop it, you go
Yeah.
to sleep right now. And then no, you lay down and sleep, because this is what I do. I wake up too early. I'm like, no, 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 come on, one more hour, sleep one more hour, get a good solid 3 hour block now, come on. So you got to do the self-parenting at that point, but now you're having fun, you're motivated, you're inspired, and now the parent in you is the one that has to kind of bring it in and say, okay, come on, you need to eat, you need to sleep, behave yourself, right? So all right, guys, this has been the Dirty Dojo. We didn't even do an intro or anything like that. If you haven't done so already, uh be sure to subscribe and all that fancy stuff. If you'd like to join us, we're going to go over to our patreon.com/cfuz, and we're going to continue training over there, specifically in a particular martial art known as Nook Gnu. We train in Nook
New.
Gnu.
New.
All right, salutations, everybody. We'll see you next week, 9:30 Pacific Standard Time, every Friday morning. Aloha.